I guess I first got interested in rotaviruses as a disease, a severe disease of infants and young children when I was a resident at Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. There was a child who'd come in. The mother was very good, very attentive to the child, and the child had developed fever and vomiting, a little diarrhea the night before, and she called the pediatrician's office, and the pediatrician told her to do what he would have told anyone to do, which is to give the child frequent sips of fluid that contained sugar and minerals. And the mother tried but was unsuccessful because the child's vomiting precluded her from really getting sufficient fluids into the baby. And so she brought the child eventually to our hospital after only really about 10 hours of being sick. And by the time the child got to our hospital, she was severely dehydrated. And so we brought her back to the treatment room. We tried unsuccessfully to put intravenous lines into her arms and into her legs. Eventually we called a surgeon to come down to try and hopefully thread an intravenous catheter into her external jugular vein, a vein in her neck. But while we were waiting for the surgeon to get down there, because the child was so severely dehydrated and frankly in shock, is we took a large bore needle, essentially a bone marrow needle, and drilled it into the bone just below her knee, trying to get fluids into her bone marrow that hopefully would be taken up into her bloodstream and prevent her from dying. And while we were doing that, the child coded, meaning the heart stopped beating, and we tried unsuccessfully to resuscitate her. And I remember that moment like it was yesterday. And you know, the mother was standing outside. She had to see what was going on, and there was no moment harder than the next one when we had to open the door up and tell her that we'd failed to save her little girl. And that struck me, that how awful of an event that was. And so we you know, at autopsy we were able to diagnose that the reason that she died was from dehydration or water loss secondary to rotaviruses. And it just stunned me that rotaviruses, which I considered to be just sort of a mild stomach virus or intestinal virus of children, could in fact kill American children. And I found an article, I remember, in the Journal of the American Medical Association that talked about, the report was called Fatal Rotavirus Gastroenteritis. It was a report of 20 cases of children who died. And that always stuck in my head. And when I got to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Stanley Plotkin had put together a group that included, at the time, Fred Clark, Mike Twist, and about to try and study rotaviruses, hopefully for the purpose of developing a vaccine. And that's what got me interested in rotaviruses.